tutorial of this series. In this video tutorial, we will be building a relationship between product and order. If you remember from the last video tutorial, we have only worked on product for now. We have not really worked on order part. So we will work on order part and we'll build a relationship between them. So if you see the code here, if you remember the code changes, what we have done, we have created a product route, we have an order route. Apart from that, we also have a product model, but we do not have order model yet. So to create an order model, we already have created a file for that. Now we'll create an order model here. So the order model, same what we had done in product, we will do in order as well. We'll write const mongoose require mongoose, and similarly we'll define an order schema equals to mongoose dot schema, and inside mongoose dot schema we have to pass our JSON object. So the JSON object which we have to pass is the structure of our order. So in that case, we have to write mongoose dot types dot object ID, and the second thing will be the order ID. Order ID we already have specified. Now the second thing will be product, and the product we have to map every order which each of the product. So the product unique identifier is ID. So the type of product will also be an Mongo ID. So again, mongoose dot type dot object ID we have to write here. Schema we have to specify, and here again mongoose dot schema and mongoose dot schema dot types dot object ID. And third thing which we have to specify is quantity for each product inside any particular order. So the quantity field will be a number. So we have specified a number here. Now, as we already have discussed in the previous video, that we will add some validations here. So the validations will be on the basis of the fields which we have created for product and order. So for product we have given a data type of name as a string. So we also can specify this with the help of an JSON object. Like if I am giving the type like type, and the second thing which we will have to specify is that it's require true. So next time if we will not be passing these parameters, so it will generate an error, and the error will be that this field is required. So we have already added the required field here to true. Similarly, in case of price, the price data type of price will be a number, but apart from this we also have to specify the required field, and the required field we are adding at true. So this is the validation which we can specify for any particular model with the help of mongoose. So same thing we have to apply the validations into order as well. So specify the order. What we are doing is we are defining the type of this product as Mongo ID, and the required we will add true, because order will not exist without any product. We have added here. Now the same thing we will do in case of quantity. We will write its type as number, but here we do not need to write a required field to true, but we can specify a default field. Default we can give a quantity as 1. So this was the validation provided from mongoose. Now in case we want to add something in order or in product, and if we are adding and we are not passing the name, the error message we will get that name is required. So let's check from Postman. So in case I try to add a product, and if I am not passing the price or name here, suppose if I am not passing name and I try to add it, so it will give me an error that path price is required. So definitely we have to pass path here. We have to pass price here because we already have write a check over here for price and name. Similarly, now in case of orders, we have to save the order in our MongoDB as we already have saved product. So to do that, first of all, what we have to do is we have to import this. We have to first export this order as we already have done in case of product. So I am copying from here and I'll paste over here. Just I will replace the product with order and product schema with order schema. Now we can easily import this class wherever we need it. So we need this here. So we will write product order equal to require and the path of the order.js module. So the path is model slash order. And one more thing we have to use here is mongoose, because every time we need to create any auto generated id from mongoose, so that's why we need mongoose here. So now we are getting some error and the error is mongoose.schema. So in it is defined in order. Let's see where is the error. Okay, we have made a mistake, spelling mistake here. So where I am correcting it. Now you can see that application still is giving some error, and again it is correct, and you can see that we have tried writing npm start and we are getting some error. But okay, so it is saying invalid value for schema path id, got value undefined. So we are getting undefined here in order.js file. In order.js file it is undefined. Okay, so because this is not a function exactly, so we do not need to write as a function. Now you can see that error has been resolved. And next thing what we need to do here is that as we are saving the product into the database, similarly we have to save order as well into our database. So first of all what we will do is to save a product. First let's start from getting a product from its database. So in case we'll perform a get operation for all the orders from order. If we are trying to get all the order, so we will write order dot find dot exact dot then dot catch, and in then I have to write it whatever result I'll get. So I'm writing it here. I'll return it in response status 200 and JSON, the whole JSON object whichever we are getting from here. And in catch, if we are getting any catch, so result dot status will be 500 and the JSON will be the whole error. So this will be, so this way we can get all the orders whichever is stored into our order collection. So the next thing, to get an specific order from the collection. So to implement this, what we have to do is we have to write the same thing, just we have to replace the just we need to replace find with find by id, and inside this we have to specify the id whichever we are trying to retrieve, that is coming from our parameter. So here we can write request dot params dot order id. We can return the result here. Again in case of patch, we'll see how patch works later. First of all, we have to save the database we have to save the data for our order into the database. So to do that, whatever the order is coming, we have to first write const order. I'm defining a variable in order as a new order, and inside the new order we will specify our JSON object which is coming in request body. So request dot body dot, suppose first thing which is coming is product ID and the quantity. Request dot body dot quantity. Two things is required to save the order into the its collection, and now we have to specify here the product ID, and the ID is, the key is product ID. If you see the key in order, so it's product ID. So the same thing we have to write here as well, product ID, and same second thing, quantity. So we have written the product ID and quantity here. Now we are okay with the schema, but again we have to add one more thing which is ID, and this ID will be generated from Mongo automatically. So as in the case of product, we already automatically have generated the value from MongoDB with the help of Mongoose type object ID. Similarly, what we have to do is we have to write it here, mongoose dot type dot object ID. So this way we will get an automatically generated value from MongoDB. Now we can write order dot save, and the save will automatically gives a promise to us, so we do not need to write exact here. Just we have to write then and catch. Inside then we get an error. In case we get any error, we will send the status code as 500, and the status message we will send as in JSON object, and the message will be error key and the error message whichever we have received. And in case of then, we will write response dot send response dot status, and the status will be 201 because we are saving the data into our database, and we have a catch. We will write JSON, and the JSON will be the whole result. So this way we can save the order into our database. So we are specifying the product ID, which product ID is associated with our product. Now in the order, if you see, so we are maintaining a relationship between order and product. So the product ID we are specifying here, so each order ID is associated with each product. So if you see here, so as we are already aware that MongoDB is a non-relational data type, but still we are trying to maintain a relationship between collection here. So this is okay, but because we are maintaining the relationship only between two collections, but in case if you have to maintain the relationship into a lot of collections, so in that case you should not choose MongoDB, you should choose MySQL instead of that, or any other relationship database. Because if you try to maintain the relationship with MongoDB, it will be very difficult over the time when you develop a product. Now things have been done. Now we also have saved the data into our database. We have now, in case to delete request, as we are already doing in case of order, what we have to do is that we are already getting product ID here. It's not product ID, but it is an order ID, and we will write some sort of code here like order dot remove, and then again you have to write exact here in case of remove, and then and catch. So now I'll get a result in then, and whatever result I will get, I will return it. The status I am giving 200 and a JSON value, and the JSON value which I want to send is the whole result. And inside catch, if I'll get any error, then I'll send the response status. I will send 500, and the JSON value I will send the whole error with an error key. So this way we can delete any particular order. And in case of updating any order, similarly what we need to do is we will write order dot update here. And similarly, as we already have done in case of product, you can take the reference from here, that what we have done is every time we are doing product dot update and updating on the basis of ID, and we are trying to set that value whatever is coming. So similarly what we will do is I'll copy the value, I'll copy the whole thing from here and I will replace it over here. Now you can see that I just need to write order dot update. I am updating on the basis of order ID, or I'm updating on the basis of order ID, and I'm trying to update not the ID but product ID. I'm trying to up product ID, and the product ID will be coming from our JSON, and not the price but the quantity, and the quantity I will be getting from the API. And again we've applied execute, then and inside this we can write, then after that we can write a catch also. And if in case we get any catch error response here, similarly we will write response dot status, and the status will be 500 as we already doing for every case. And in case of JSON, we are sending an error message with error key. And similarly, if we get a successful result, then we will send this result as a response dot status, and the status will be 200 and the JSON object, and that JSON object will contain the whole result. So this way we can handle product and corresponding orders. So let's see how we can do that. We'll try to access all the endpoints of orders here. I wrote at order, I'll try to add on order. So first of all, the order is taking two things. The first thing is quantity. So quantity I am specifying as 2. I am specifying quantity as 2, and the first thing which is to need is the product ID. So we are not aware about the product ID. So first of all, we'll try to get all the product which is available into our product collection. So to get that, I'll try to get it from by hitting this endpoint. So I can see that we have three product. So I'll take this ID. I want to add the ID of Samsung into an order. So to do that, what we have to do, again I'll replace the products endpoint with order, and I'll send a post request here, and quantity 2, and the product ID I am sending here. Now let's see whether this will be added into order collection or not. So once we send it, we can see that order handling post request, and the order detail quantity 2, ID this, product ID this. From where we are getting order requesting post request, let's check that. So we can see that here is our post request, and inside post we are saving it. So we need to remove this line of code. Let's again test what will be the response. And if you see here, we got an result, and the result is that whatever the quantity we sent to, the ID which is generated for order by default by MongoDB, and the product ID which we sent from here. So we can see that this order has been added into our order collection. To assure that, we will try to make a get request on order. We'll try to see how many orders have been inserted into our order collection. So we can see that total we have two number of orders which has already been added, the one which was added earlier and the one which now we added. So to delete one order, let's try to delete this particular order. So to delete this order, we have to send a delete request and we have to pass the ID of the order as an parameter. So I'll send this and I can see that total number of record affected was 2. So if I'll try to get all the orders, so I can see that there is no order specified, there is no order left. So this way we can add an order, we can remove an order, we can update any order, and we can get all the order or any particular order. So, and we also have maintained a relationship between order and product in our order collection over here. So thanks for watching. We'll see you into next video.